this whole video turns out completely purple, I'm going to be kind of annoyed. Hello, fellow plant people. If you're new, my name is Jen. I go by the Leafy Geek here and also on Instagram. And of course, if you are returning, really good to see you. Glad you're back. I am currently in my spare bedroom slash plant room, filming in here for a change of pace. Got my mood lighting on. Kind of have a casual, low-key video to film today. And it's another tag. I decided after seeing some pretty cool answers that I would join in on Plantastica's Quarantine Plant Tag. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't really have any plant chores to do right now while I'm answering the questions, but I thought that I would just sit in my little plant room amongst my plants and talk a little bit. So I guess we'll just jump right in. Hound dog here with me, keeping me company. She likes this room too. It's just very calming, very zen. I'm finally getting it into a place where I am excited about it, and kind of the last thing I'm going to do in this room is get rid of this bed and replace it with a futon so that I have more space in here and it's more dual function, so I can use it as an office also. So let's just jump right into the questions, shall we? First question, if you ran out of food and had to start making salads out of your plants, which would be your first to eat? This is a two-part question. So that's the first part, which would be your first plant to eat. I would choose probably any of my peperomias. That's where I would start. They're non-toxic, and a lot of mine are really quite succulent. They're pretty juicy, so I feel like they might be kind of nutritious and delicious, or at least they wouldn't kill me. Okay, so second part of this question, for which plant would you starve? I don't think that I would be able to eat my Hoya polyneura. I just don't think I could do it. If it came down to me surviving and that plant being ingested, I don't think I could eat it. Question 2. You've used up all your rubbing alcohol and pest control products, and your 5 favorite plants have become infested. Do you and your family eat off of dirty dishes and go sober so that you can use the last of your dish soap and vodka for the plants? Well, it's just me and my dog, so dirty dishes are fine. There are other ways to clean dishes, like if you have salt, or if you have vinegar, or if you have, lemon, you can make a scrub. So there are other ways to clean things that you can get creative if you need to. And as far as the vodka goes, I drink bourbon and wine, so the plants can have it. Question 3. How many times have you reorganized your plants while in quarantine? A lot. At least 4 times. I mean, this past weekend, the room that I'm sitting in right now, I completely rearranged it. But I just rearranged plants. I hung some plants up. I finally got some plant hooks in my ceiling. So things kind of got moved around a little bit, and I really I love it now. I don't know how I'm going to feel in a week, but right now this is really working for me. I'll have to show you, actually, if we go on a mini tour here. So I'm going to go ahead and take myself off camera for this little mini tour right here. This is just kind of showing you what I've rearranged and what I've done to my plant room. So kind of the biggest changes, you can probably tell, are the hangers. I ended up getting some hooks put into my ceiling finally. That was in the works for a while. And then just these homemade jute rope plant hangers. This one's kind of cool. I repurposed an old light fixture from my apartment. I think it's an original fixture. It's just a square glass light cover. And just kind of set some Hoyas on it. And they seem to be enjoying it. I've got my Bella and my Linearis on there. It's pretty cool, right by the humidifier there. And then the other big change was in this corner. I ended up moving the sewing machine that was here. I had my mom's sewing machine hanging out in this corner. Not really usable. I've been storing it here for her. So what I ended up doing, because I really want to learn more how to sew, that is an interest of mine. So in this closet, this main kind of closet here, I created a little craft space. Let's see if I can actually even show you. So yeah, I just moved the sewing machine in here. Got all the craft supplies, got a whole mess of yarn in there. So that was kind of a fun weekend project. But now I was able to create some storage in this corner. So just a couple of little bookshelves that I had in my living room that weren't really being used that well. And so now I have most of my plant supplies in here. And I also, still have this shelf board that I laid over the top to protect both the top of the shelf and also to kind of create a consistent surface, just an even surface for the plants that are sitting here. So it also kind of opens this corner up a little bit more. So those are the big changes. But I did move some plants around, kind of created this jungle oasis for myself, and I'm really enjoying it in here. Really, really a lot. I'm going to spend a lot of time in here moving forward. Things just feel a little bit more jungly in here. I really like it a lot. Oh, I should also mention too that I had to make room for some plants that recently graduated from their own quarantine that they were in, that I had recently acquired, and I was letting them acclimate and also just kind of keeping an eye on them for that first week or so, just to make sure that, everything was fine, they didn't have any pests, before adding them to my collection. So I had to make room for them, and I'm also getting ready to move things outside for the spring, probably not for a good month or, minimum yet. But that's kind of what I'm working on right now too. So obviously plants are moving around. How many hours per day are you spending browsing plants online, and have you purchased any? Yeah, I browse probably on average an hour per day. Probably a lot of time spent looking at plants online, but now that it's spring, I'm really kind of on the lookout. Some of the regular vendors that I shop with, I'm on the lookout for some cool Hoya that I really didn't feel comfortable purchasing over the winter, especially from some vendors that might not have wanted to ship to me in the winter up here in the northern tundralands where it's like negative blizzard degrees all winter. So I'm kind of on the lookout for some of those cool Hoya that I was hoping to acquire at some point. And I've also found a lot of Ripsalis that I've been adding to my collection. Really into Ripsalis right now. I mean, I have been for a while. I've acquired quite a few, but I'm finding some new ones in an upcoming unboxing video. As soon as that order gets to me, I will be able to show you. But yeah, Hoya and Ripsalis, I can't stop. Just can't stop. Oh boy. Question 5. You run out of toilet paper and it was a doozy. Which plant do you reach for to achieve a nice clean wipe? I'm gonna go with my Calathea rufibarba. Yeah, I think that would make perfect sense. The leaves are fairly large and they're fuzzy, they're soft, they're quilted. I don't know. I feel like that would probably feel the nicest out of all of my plants. And it's probably, if I'm gonna be honest, aside from like my succulents, my Echeveria, it's probably the plant that I am like the least excited about in my collection. So I'm not sure that I would miss it over much. I would respect and honor its sacrifice. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Rhubarba. Are you watching more or less planty YouTube videos? And is there a type of planty video you would like to see more of right now? Hello. I am definitely watching more. I watch a lot to begin with, but definitely because it's spring, I'm really starting to research and check out what people are doing for, you know, outdoor gardens. I know a lot of people on here do seed starting. So that's been really fun to kind of check out and see what other people are doing. I have some old seeds that I am trying to determine if they are even viable at this point, so I'm doing germination tests with them. I'll probably do a video on that once that kind of gets rolling. It's pretty boring right now. I'm just waiting for them to germinate while they're sitting in paper towels at the moment. So when I have more of an update, I will definitely make sure to let you guys know. I'm ready to get started on my vegetable garden right around this time of year. Well, January if we're being honest, but I start to get antsy and we're planning it, and I do this with my mom. My mom and I are kind of co-gardeners for the veggie garden, and it's really kind of a fun thing for us to do and plan. And now that the snow is gone, we want to get out there. So definitely checking out more of that on YouTube just to see what other folks are up to and what they grow and what their process is. It's also neat because you get to see what people are growing in other parts of the country and other parts of the world. I'm just learning a lot. I really appreciate that part of YouTube. Just the learning part. If you had to fashion a mask out of a plant, which would you use and why? I'm going to go with my cast iron plant. Just out of all the plants in my collection, it's the one that has the largest leaves, so that just makes sense. It's also non-toxic, so if it's up in my face, probably won't get irritated. But yeah, and it has a lot of leaves, so I think just the size of the leaves, I will have good coverage, and then I'll just be able to make a lot of them. Okay, last question, and that is, how many days post-quarantine will it be before you go plant shopping? You know, I think I might be ready to kind of press pause for a little bit. I've purchased a lot this winter. I've purchased more than enough while in quarantine, in that like 2-week span or whatever it's been. So I feel like moving forward, it's probably going to be a good idea for me to focus on like plant accessories and plant necessities. So like soil, I really need to pick up some soil at some point. I have quite a few plants that need to be repotted this spring. And then I don't think that right now I need to be adding more plants. I have quite a few already. I've gotten quite a few on my wish list. That said, if I do find a plant that I love and have been looking for that is still on my wish list that I would like to acquire and have the means to acquire it, I'm gonna buy it. I'm not gonna do a no buy for myself, but I do think it's a good idea for me right now to kind of step back, because I have probably close to 200 at this point. If I'm being honest, I have acquired a lot in the span of, the winter. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna, definitely explore my plants that I have and check out the new growth that's going on and just really kind of enjoy that about the ones that I already have and love. So that's my plan anyway. So this fun little exercise was created by Reb over at Plantastica. And so I'm going to link her original video in my description below. She did open it up to anybody who'd like to give this a try, this tag. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to invite you to answer those questions. She has them all listed in her description on her video. So if you head over there, check out her video, you'll be able to access the questions and then think of some answers for your own experience. So this was fun, nice little plant tag. These are kind of nice, these kind of relaxed, chatty videos. I really like doing them. I like thinking about my plants. I like sharing information about my plants. And I like, you know, hearing other people do the same. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you would like to, you know, continue and follow me on some additional plant stuff, plant adventures, I'll invite you to subscribe also, if you'd like to do that. I saw the other day, I think I'm up to like 41 friends, 41 people who are hanging out with me on a consistent basis. So I just want to say thank you to you wonderful people. I'm so happy to have you here. It's just a really exciting thing. So I hope you'll stick around, and I am just really happy, you know, to meet you and have you here. So, until next time, enjoy your plants. I will be.